Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dan Quinn's departure could provide new perspective on several Cowboys defenders. Dan Quinn is taking command in Washington, leaving a big void on the Cowboys defense. After 3 years of league-leading work as Dallas defensive coordinator, with several big stars made along the way, how much will Quinn's departure affect Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Darren Bland, and other prominent Cowboys defenders? The Quinn effect was given an ideal starting point for perceived value. The season before, Mike McCarthy's buddy Mike Nolan was brought in and reminded everyone why he hadn't held a defensive coordinator position since 2014. His schematic changes neutered what talents he had on defense, adding to the disaster that McCarthy's first year in Dallas proved to be. With the bar set about as low as it could get, Quinn arrived in 2021. While his head coaching run with the Falcons came with red flags, he still had cachet as a coordinator from the Legion of Boom days with the Seahawks. There was little doubt that he would improve things from Nolan's brief tenure, but just how much would be for time to tell. Now we get into the big chicken versus egg part of this conversation. In the same offseason that Quinn was hired, Micah Parsons was drafted 12th overall. The pick was maligned by many at the time for being too high for a linebacker, but even proponents didn't foresee what an immediately impactful edge rusher Parsons would be. You'll find varying opinions throughout Cowboys Nation for who, between Quinn and Parsons, was the tide that raised all ships. The answer is far more nuanced than any black and white choice could provide. Quinn's tutelage and scheme no doubt enhanced Parsons' natural gifts, especially given Parsons' increased pass-rushing prowess in the NFL compared to college. But there are plenty of times that Parsons does things few players could be coached to do. With Quinn and Parsons as the catalysts, plenty of other Cowboys defenders have reaped benefits. Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland have become household names as cornerbacks, with record-breaking and threatening interception totals. DeMarcus Lawrence has returned to Pro Bowl recognition and league-wide respect in 2022 and 2023. Jaron Kearse, another 2021 arrival, went from a journeyman backup to a team leader with the Cowboys. Leighton Vander Esch also saw his stock rise in 2021, thanks partially to better health but also more success in Quinn's defense. Some of these guys probably won't get to show their stuff in the post-Quinn defense. Kearse is a free agent and unlikely to be re-signed with Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Marquise Bell, and Wanya Thomas all under contract for 2024. Vander Esch has one more year on his deal but may retire given the latest setbacks with his neck. And while it will be a tough call, Lawrence's high salary cap hit makes him a target in discussions for cap casualties. There's little doubt that Parsons will shine in any defense. But could schematic changes make it harder for Diggs and Bland to attack the ball and maintain their reputations? How much will losing the big play potential of Quinn's scheme, which has mitigated some of the weaknesses in coverage and run defense, make the Cowboys more reliant on the dirty work? To be clear, Quinn wasn't perfect. It was especially evident when Dallas would get completely outclassed against certain opponents, particularly in the playoff losses during his run. When Kyle Shanahan or other coaches had his number, Quinn seemed unable to adjust. We don't know who the Cowboys' next defensive coordinator will be, but now we'll just how much credit Dan Quinn deserves for the last 3 years. Did he make his players better, or did Micah Parsons and others' individual efforts make their coordinator look good? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but it will become clearer as we move into a new era for Dallas defense. Is Cowboys coach search hurt by Mike McCarthy lame duck status? Podcast. After the hiring of Dan Quinn to be the new head coach in Washington, the Cowboys are searching for his replacement. And with the way the defense performed the past 2 seasons under Quinn and the talent level available, one might think it's a highly attractive job. But head coach Mike McCarthy is heading into the final year of his contract without an extension, meaning he and his staff will be evaluated on what happens in 2024, meaning for a new defensive coordinator coming in, it could be a one-and-done situation. Owner Jerry Jones doesn't think that's an issue in their search for Quinn's replacement. I don't anticipate that being an issue at all, Jones said. If they take the job, they will be coordinator of the Cowboys. They would be looking at that right there and all that goes with that. If they're aspiring, they know there's a chance to be a head coach someplace, because the one that just left is. The team doesn't appear to be in any hurry with its search, and Jones and McCarthy have not designated a timeline for a potential hire. Interviews are beginning Monday, with former Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer and Ron Rivera among possible candidates. Zimmer was with the Cowboys organization from 1994 through 2006, serving in various capacities, including defensive coordinator from 2000 to 2006. Dalla may also have interest in veteran aide Wink Martindale. Former Washington and Carolina head coach Rivera is also reportedly a candidate. One rumored internal candidate, Cowboys secondary coach Joe Witt, has accepted the defensive coordinator job with Quinn in Washington. Why Ron Rivera makes sense as next Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. Former Carolina Panthers and Washington Commanders head coach Ron Rivera is slated to interview with the Dallas Cowboys this week for their vacant defensive coordinator job. Interestingly enough, there is an opening in D.C. after former Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn took the Commanders head coach job. It's rather clear that the boys are looking for an experienced defensive mind under offensive-minded head coach Mike McCarthy. Meanwhile, hands-on owner Jerry Jones is taking part in these interviews. In addition to Rivera, former Minnesota Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer and the respected Don Wink Martindale are two names being bandied about, and Big D. Rivera, 62, is a football lifer. After his studly playing days as a linebacker for the Chicago Bears, he's taken on a variety of roles. The experience factor certainly is there. From 2004 to 2006, he served as the Bears' defensive coordinator. His final 2 seasons in Chicago saw that unit finish first and third in points allowed, respectively. Rivera served as the defensive coordinator for the then San Diego Chargers from 2008 to 2010, leading 2 top 11 scoring defenses in the process. This earned him the gig as the Carolina Panthers head coach, a span of 9 seasons that saw him post a 76-63-1 record. That included a Super Bowl appearance following the 2015 season. This is exactly the type of experience Dallas needs to run its defense. Replacing Dan Quinn is going to be no small thing. He led 2 top 5 defenses in his final 2 seasons with the Cowboys. It's one of the primary reasons they won 12 games each season. Adding Rivera to the mix would be an absolute boon for the Cowboys. We will see soon enough whether the Cowboys go in this direction. They seemingly have a ton of options to replace the respected Quinn. But Rivera seems to stand above the rest given his history and past success. And you fan, what do you think of the Ron Rivera situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.